Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Do you remember before Christmas I did a video about how I built my confidence, and it was realising that you have to start saying yes and you have to start believing in yourself, otherwise you're just going to miss out on all the opportunities. And when I decided to do that, things did start to happen. So I said that I would share with you how I did it and the different tips. Some people call it manifesting, some people would say it's more about strategy, but they do work, they really do. So some of it, they're tips from other people, other things I've worked out myself, but let's have a chat about how you can manifest what you want to do for your own life. So the first thing that I would suggest, if you do think, right, now is the time you either want to do something different in your career or you've decided to stop being so shy or anxious about things, is pick something that you really want to do or several things that you want to do, almost like the bucket list. What would you love to do, career-wise, hobby-wise, just something, various things that if you didn't do them, you would regret it. And come up with a list. And some of them can be things that you maybe have always thought you might like to do. Other things could be things that you maybe looked at or definitely considered and then life got in the way. Or sometimes it might be something that it's only recently you've thought, actually, I would like to do that, because time is of the essence, and if you keep telling yourself you're going to do things later, sometimes later actually doesn't appear in the way that can allow you to do it. So come up with this list of what you want to do and what you would be quite gutted about if you didn't get a chance to do it. Then from that list, you have to be quite honest with yourself. Is there anything that you genuinely think that you have a chance of doing? Is there anything that you know that deep down you're kidding yourself on? And is there anything that you put it on the list, but if push comes to shove, you don't really want to do it? And my examples would be for myself. I would like to know, and I said this before in the confidence video, I used to always harbour a dream, didn't really push it because I didn't really want to do it, but really wanted to know if I could work in radio, and I really wanted to be a journalist, really did at high school, but confidence got in the way. And I knew with journalism you had to be quite confident, you had to be out there, you had to push yourself to the front, shout the questions, be confident. I did not have those skills at that time. So I suppose what I'm doing now is pursuing that journalistic ambition, but very much on my terms, doing this, writing articles, doing little bits and pieces on TV to camera, podcast. That's my way of pushing myself to see if I can do that. But when I really wanted to know if I could work in radio, again, I've been pushing myself in the last year, done little tiny bits of radio, but I mean tiny. But I still don't know if I've got what it takes or the confidence to actually put myself out there seriously for that. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I think this year I might pursue it a little bit more. But if you said to me, do you want to be a singer on the stage? Then absolutely not. I could put that in my my list of things that I'd like to see if I can do. But the truth is, I know I don't want to do it. I know that I don't want to be a singer. I very much doubt I've got the skills. You know, you've got to be honest. Do I want to be an actor? No. So if I put it on the list, would I seriously go for it? Would I really be able to pursue that seriously? No. Because I have no acting experience. I don't really have the drive for it. I'm not really interested. Love watching people doing it. No desire myself. So for you, maybe you want to see if you could pursue any of that, or maybe even like being a chef, you know, something like that. But could you actually be a chef if you have never cooked in your life and you don't really want to learn the skills? It's doubtful, maybe. But if you think, actually, I do want to pursue that and I do cook and I'm really good at it, then those are the things that you can build on. So I would say if you want to do something but you don't know if you've got the skill, now's the time to actually pursue that and see if you do. If you really want to do something but the truth is you just think you do, but you don't actually deep down really know, then maybe you've got to be truthful and say it's going to be a bit of a stretch trying to strategize that goal if your heart's not really in it. So it's got to be things that you can really get in there, get on the ladder and start pursuing it and start knocking on those doors and looking for those opportunities. So get the list, get the dreams and the ambitions, and then be truthful with yourself and hone it down to what you think you can do, what's a pipe dream, and what you really think, no, I'm kidding myself on here. Then you've got something to work with. So the next thing that you want to do is work out, as I was saying before, how to get on that ladder. So there's always a way, and if you keep going you can get there eventually, but it doesn't mean you'll always get to the top, but you can definitely progress. So when I'll use an example, for me, when I decided that I wanted to interview people with a profile, a celebrity profile for the podcast, you're starting at zero. So you could be chapping on doors and you might get no responses, or you might get people that are very open and very friendly. You might get initial yeses followed by nothing. You could get quite blunt no. So you have to be prepared for all of this. I could say, for another example, say it was acting or singing. So this isn't something that I'm pursuing, but you have got to be prepared to chap those doors. So it could be emails, it could be reaching out on social media, it could be finding out representation of people, it could be places and businesses that can help you or advise you. What I would say is, don't try and pick someone's brains because you want to get information from them, but it's very one-sided, because people can be quite fed up with someone just constantly contacting them, because it won't just be you. Can you advise me? Can you give me some advice? Can you tell me how to do this? How did you get on the ladder? How did you do this? People are quite often happy to help, but they're only happy to help if you actually sound appreciative when you're asking, if you're polite, and also if you say thank you. I've quite often helped people when they've asked me how I got onto the ladder in makeup artistry. You'd be surprised how many people want to know how you did it. You give them some information, they don't say thank you. And that's the first thing, is you must always say, I appreciate you taking the time, because someone has taken time out of their day to read your question and give you some advice. So even if someone says no, they can't help you, but it's quite a polite no, just say thanks back, because sometimes that can make the difference between someone saying I don't have time to then saying, actually, that person's really respectful, they seem quite nice, I will help them. That's all it can take. But again, be prepared. If you want to go for it, you are going to have to accept that while some people can be lovely and quick to reply, other people can just ignore your questions, ignore your response to opportunities, because they might be getting a lot of people responding to an opportunity. They could be very dismissive, they could be rude, they could be blunt, they could tell you, you hear those stories about actors where they're told everything about them's wrong for the part and you've just got to develop a thick skin. It's exactly the same when you're going for your manifesting of what you're trying to do. People can be very blunt, they can say things that are actually quite rude. They might not mean it to be rude, but it can sound incredibly rude. We've all had it, but just develop that thick skin, and when it's a no, realise that there's a reason why it's a no, and we can move beyond that, or we can work out another way to get to that goal, work around that initial no and find another way. So another thing that I did when I wanted to manifest some opportunities, and some of them were things like QVC, again, managing to speak to people who I thought might be too high profile for the podcast, is to put yourself out there. So to not be afraid of rejection, to not be afraid of an opportunity. Sometimes when there might be a call out for something, and for QVC it was a call out, if anyone thinks that they suit the criteria to be on the shows, send us an email. And I thought, well, I think I meet the criteria, but I don't actually know if I'm capable. That's when I thought, you know what, I'm sick of saying no, I'm not capable, I best just leave it. I thought, no, I'll put myself in the mix. If anyone gets back to me, and I'll be honest, I didn't think they would, but I thought if they get back to me, I'll let them decide if I'm capable or not. And I suppose it's a bit like that film in the book, just say yes. So if someone gives you an opportunity, they must believe in you. So if they are running their big operation and they see something in you, then why are you the one that doesn't? So learn to say yes, learn to believe in yourself. If your confidence is developing, then it's that classic of fake it till you make it. You even hear of people that work in the theatre that say they always get the butterflies. I hear celebrities almost all the time, presenters on TV, when they're talking about nerves, they'll say, been doing this 20 or 30 years, I still get the nervous energy before I go on. But they channel it towards having fun and doing a good job. They don't see it as a bad, they see it as a good. So see it as a buzz. You're looking forward to something, you want to do this, it's a buzz. And also just remember that sometimes it's all about just living in that moment, doing that thing, not overthinking it, not telling yourself yes, no, just prepare as best you can for whatever opportunity. And if you're not sure about something, just either if the conversation or the situation allows you to work around what you're not sure about, brilliant. But if it's something where it's very much in the heat of the moment, you don't know, you can just be honest and say, that's something I'm not sure of, but I'm sure we can find out, or I can find out and let you know at a later date, or maybe someone else knows. So you don't have to lie, but if there's something that you genuinely think, I better not try and blag this because this is too much of a blag, then just be honest, because what can you do with honesty other than accept it? But I will say, talking about being confident and talking about really going for it, sometimes you'll find that it's actually speaking directly to the people who you're intending or you wish to speak to that can be the best experience. Sometimes it can be the people that work for that person that can be the people that maybe don't make it happen. So again, for me, when I was doing podcasts and I was speaking to people that I wanted to be on the podcast, and there will be more this year, most of the times when I got close to speaking to someone who was very high profile and it never happened, it was always because I never got to speak to them. It would be a representative, an agent, a manager. 9 times out of 10 when it was a representative, it never went ahead. We could have lovely chats and really friendly chats, or I could be completely ignored. But most of the time I found that the most success was when it was me speaking to the person, because you get that connection. But when it's a rep or an organisation, I tend to find that because you don't get a chance to connect, most of the time those podcasts never went ahead. And that is a shame, because those people would have been fabulous to speak to. And most of the time when you do get the chance to make that connection and speak to each other, that's when you really do get that, you get the collaboration, you get the connection, you get the experience. So sometimes you have to accept that if there's going to be a block in the road, again, you either work around the block or you accept that that is just not going to happen, and you don't always get to manifest or strategize to that end goal. Sometimes you have to accept there's a reason why we cannot get to the end of what I want to achieve here, but that's okay. But you'll still manage to work on different aspects of what it is that you're looking to do. And I think the final thing for manifesting is, especially last year when I really put myself out there, is to not overanalyze something that you did, but at the same time you can reflect and you can be proud of yourself. So I think a lot of the time we have a problem with being proud and of saying, you know what, I did all right there, because sometimes you can think that might look arrogant or cocky. I think it can be a bit arrogant if you don't shut up about it and if you keep showing off to everyone, look what I did, look what I did. But remember I said in the previous video, I did these things for me and I didn't tell anyone I was doing it. Maybe 1 or 2 people that I had to tell because I needed their help. But if you're doing it for you and you're not shouting it from the rooftops, look at me, come and look at me, let me show you this, you're not doing it for attention, you're doing it because you want to do it. So be proud and build on your confidence and embrace the fact that you're proving to yourself you can do it. I don't think that's being cocky or arrogant. I think, to me, arrogance is when you don't stop talking about yourself and how great you are. And again, it's great to be confident, but it's just knowing where to draw a line. But yeah, embrace your confidence. Feel proud of what you did. Reflect on your achievements, but don't overanalyze. And what I would say is, continue to build on it, continue to look at those different opportunities, continue to explore other avenues, and if you can build on an opportunity and use what you did to actually open more doors and maybe reach out through emails, reach out to people you admire or organisations that you might like to work with, why not? Because the more that you do what it is that you're trying to achieve, the more you build on those steps, working on the ladder. These people might not notice you, hopefully they do, but if you're getting there, why don't you tap on their door and say, hi, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, and introduce yourself to them. Then they'll notice you, and then they'll maybe say, yes, we'd like to see you, we'd like to work with you, or maybe not just now, maybe later. whatever the scenario is, whatever the job or the experience is that you're looking to do, sometimes you actually have to wave and say, hi, here I am. And that could be all it takes between where you want to be and where you can get to. But already from putting myself out there, I do get occasional contact, and it'll be a company or a person that's seen me and they either saw what I did and want to do something similar with me, or it could be representatives on behalf of people that want to be in the podcast. And these are all because, again, I'm starting to build on that ladder, and as much as I was sort of waving and saying, hi, here I am, would you like to work with me, would you like to see if I'm capable of this, I am now flagging up for other people who are saying, there's a person there, maybe we should wave at them and flag up and see if they'll work with us. So it's really interesting to see how it can be a two-way street. So at the end of the day, manifesting and strategizing for your goals is very much plotting. So plot it out, work it out, and see how you can get from A to B to C, etc. Work on that ladder. Do not be afraid of rejection. Do not be afraid of building your confidence, and really go for it. What's the worst that can happen? You got somewhere, you did something, and I bet that's the same for everyone. You'll always get somewhere. So let's go for it, let's strategize, and let me know what your goals are for this year, and we'll see if we can all get there together. So I hope you found that useful. Have a great day, and I'll see you again soon.